Assalamualaikum. Today we will study about the spleen. The spleen is an organ located in the left upper abdomen and is roughly the size of a clenched fist. The spleen main function as a blood filter, removing old red blood cells. It also plays a role in both cell-mediated and humoral immune responses. Spleen is the largest organ of lymphatic system. The histological feature is the presence of white pulp and the red pulp. Spleen is the largest lymphatic organ present in the left hypochondrium region and is roughly the size of a clenched fist, while its main function is in immune response and as a blood filter. Spleen लार्जेस्ट लिम्फाइड ऑर्गन है जो कि लेफ्ट हाइपोकॉन्ड्रियल रीजन में प्रेजेंट होता है और रफली साइज ऑफ क्लेंच्ड फिस्ट है. Picture of spleen is this is the schematic diagram of the spleen. This is the hilum of the spleen, the gastric surface of the spleen, the renal surface of the spleen. The gastric surface is on the anterior aspect of hilum of the spleen, while the renal surface is at the posterior aspect of hilum of the spleen. The structure of the spleen is that it is oval shaped, covered by a weak capsule that protects the organ, allowing it to expand in size. स्प्लीन ओवल शेप होता है जिसका एक वीक कैप्सूल होता है, इसी वजह से स्प्लीन साइज में एक्सपेंड कर सकता है. आउटर सरफेस ऑफ स्प्लीन को हम एनाटॉमिकली दो सरफेसेस में डिवाइड करते हैं, जिसको हम डायफ्रामेटिक सरफेस और विजरल सरफेस कहते हैं. डायफ्रामेटिक सरफेस इज इन कॉन्टैक्ट with the diaphragm and rib cage, while the visceral surface of spleen is in contact with other abdominal viscera. Diaphragmatic नाम से पता चलता है कि डायफ्राम के साथ कांटेक्ट में होगा और विजरल मतलब अदर विजरास के. The spleen has anterior, posterior, superior medial and inferior borders. The anterior और superior border जो है उसमें नॉचेस होते हैं, जबकि पोस्टीरियर और इंफीरियर बॉर्डर दोनों स्मूथ होते हैं. The anatomical position of the spleen is left hypochondrial region and is under the cover of diaphragm and rib cage. Normally, the spleen is a peritoneal organ except for hilum of the spleen. मतलब पूरा का पूरा स्प्लीन पेरिटोनियम से सराउंड होता है एक्सेप्ट हाइलम ऑफ द स्प्लीन. हाइलम ऑफ द स्प्लीन इज द पार्ट वेयर द स्प्लीनिक वेसल्स आर प्रेजेंट. स्प्लीन इज connected to the stomach and kidney by the part of greater omentum. Greater omentum is a double-folded peritoneum that originates from the stomach. Part of the spleen which is connected to the stomach is by a ligament known as gastrosplenic ligament. Gastro means stomach, splenic means spleen, and the ligament between them is known as gastrosplenic ligament, which is towards the anterior aspect of hilum of the spleen, while the other ligament which connects the spleen to the kidney is called splenorenal ligament, which is at the posterior aspect of the spleen. Renal mean kidney, the kidney, and the splenic mean spleen. So the ligament which connect the spleen with the left kidney is called splenorenal ligament. Between the splenorenal ligament there is the tail of pancreas. Anatomical relation of the spleen is that anteriorly the stomach is present, posteriorly the diaphragm, left lung, 9th and 10 and 11 rib, while inferiorly is the left colic flexure. Then what is the left colic flexure will be discussed later on. Medially is the left kidney and tail of the pancreas. This is a rough schematic diagram of the splenic relationships. As I'm not that good in diagrams, so I'll hope you'll try to understand it. This is the spleen, the stomach, the left lung, pancreas, and the left kidney. So the spleen is present at the left hypochondrial region of the abdomen. The anteriorly is present stomach, posteriorly is the left lung, the 9, 10, 11 ribs, while medially is the pancreas and the left kidney, and inferiorly is the intestine. The intestine takes a 90-degree turns at the inferior border of the spleen. This turn is known as left colic flexure or the splenic flexure. The intestine takes a 90-degree turn at the inferior border of the spleen. This becomes the left colic flexure. The stomach is connected with the spleen through gastrosplenic ligament at the anterior aspect of hilum of the spleen, while the left kidney is connected with the spleen through splenorenal ligament. In the splenorenal ligament there is the tail of pancreas. As we have discussed that spleen is a peritoneal organ except for hilum of the spleen. This means that hilum of the spleen is retroperitoneal. Blood supply of the spleen is through splenic artery, which is the branch of celiac trunk, and celiac trunk is the branch of abdominal aorta. The best thing about the spleen is that it has got segmental supply, which means that the splenic artery divides into 5 branches to supply different parts of the spleen. स्प्लीन की ब्लड सप्लाई है स्प्लेनिक आर्टरी ब्रांच है सीलियक ट्रंक की, सीलियक ट्रंक ब्रांच है एब्डोमिनल एओर्टा की। स्प्लेनिक आर्टरी 5 ब्रांचेस में डिवाइड होके 5 पार्ट्स ऑफ स्प्लीन को सप्लाई करता है, जिससे सर्जन को ये आसानी होती है कि अगर वो सब टोटल स्प्लीनेक्टोमी करना चाहे तो आसानी से कर सकता है। मतलब स्प्लीन का एक सेगमेंट वो रिमूव कर सकता है, क्योंकि these branches do not anastomose with each other. The venous drainage is through splenic vein, which combine with superior mesenteric vein to form hepatic portal vein. The nerve supply is celiac plexus, and the lymphatic drainage is pancreatosplenic lymph nodes, which ultimately drains into celiac lymph nodes. Spleen is supplied by splenic artery. The nerve supply is celiac plexus. The lymphatic drainage is celiac lymph nodes. This is how the vasculature of the spleen is. The clinical relevance is splenomegaly. Splenomegaly is a condition when the spleen becomes enlarged. Normally, the spleen is not palpable unless it becomes enlarged. Spleen palpable नहीं होता. Spleen is not palpable normally, but when it becomes enlarged, we can easily palpate the spleen, and the condition in which the spleen becomes enlarged is called splenomegaly. The symptoms are abdominal pain, anemia, asymptomatic, and feeling of abdominal fullness. The rupture of the spleen is when there is a break in fibroelastic capsule of the spleen caused by a blunt or penetrating trauma, या रिब फ्रैक्चर हो जाए। स्प्लीन का ये कैप्सूल आसानी से टेयर हो सकता है, इसको रप्चर ऑफ स्प्लीन कहते हैं। We have learned about the spleen so far. Can you answer the location, size function and blood supply of the spleen. Function of the spleen is it plays a role in both cell-mediated and humoral immune responses and is the largest lymphatic organ. The blood supply is splenic artery, while the size is approximately the size of a fist, while the location is the left hypochondrium region. That's all for today. Thank you so much.